Lesson 7 from your literature book, Mr. Jeremy Fisher. This is the story of a frog who lives near a pond, and one day when it is raining, he decides to go out fishing. In his mind, he plans that if he'll catch more than 5 minnows, that minnows are small fish, he will invite his friends for dinner. Now, it's raining, so he wears his galoshes, which are his gumboots. He wears a raincoat. He picks up his rod and basket, which he'll need for catching fish, and he steps out. He's got a small lily pad boat, sits in the boat and goes to the spot which he thinks would be very good for fishing. But the day doesn't turn out the way he wants. He has a lot of adventure, which you will read in the lesson and enjoy. And in the end, he comes home very tired and doesn't want to go for fishing again. His friends come and they have dinner with him. So now I'm going to read out the lesson for you. Mr. Jeremy Fisher. Once upon a time, there was a frog called Mr. Jeremy Fisher. He lived in a little damp house amongst the buttercups at the edge of a pond. He was very happy when he looked out and saw large drops of rain splashing in the pond. I will go fishing and catch a dish of minnows for my dinner. If I catch more than 5 fish, I will invite my friends Mr. Ptolemy Tortoise and Sir Newton the Newt. Mr. Ptolemy, however, only eats salad. Mr. Jeremy put on a raincoat and a pair of shiny galoshes. He took his rod and basket and set off with high hops to the place where he kept his boat. The boat was round and green like the lily leaves. Then he sat cross-legged in his boat and arranged his fishing tackle. He waited in the rain for nearly an hour. Once or twice, something moved about with a splash amongst the grass at the side of the pond. Mr. Jeremy dropped in the bait again. There was a bite almost directly. A minnow. But instead of a smooth, fat minnow, Mr. Jeremy landed little Jack Sharp, the stickleback. It was covered with spines. The stickleback tossed and turned in the boat until he was out of breath. Then he jumped back into the water. Mr. Jeremy sat sadly on the edge of the boat. He was sucking his sore fingers. Then a worse thing happened. When he bent down to look into the water, a great big trout came up and held Mr. Jeremy, and it turned and dived down to the bottom of the pond. But the trout was so unhappy with the taste of the raincoat that it spat him out again. The only thing it swallowed was Mr. Jeremy's galoshes. Mr. Jeremy jumped up and swam with all his might to the edge of the pond. He hopped home across the meadow with his raincoat all in tatters. What a mercy that was not a pike! His friends both came to dinner. Mr. Ptolemy Tortoise brought a salad with him in a bag, and instead of a nice dish of minnows, they had a roasted grasshopper with ladybird sauce. Frogs like it very much, but I think it must have been nasty. Now, children, I'm going to tell you something about the writer. Helen Beatrix Potter was an English writer and illustrator. She is known for her stories for children, and most of her stories are about animals. Some of her well-known works are The Tale of Peter Rabbit, The Tale of Squirrel Nutkin, and The Tale of Mr. Jeremy Fisher. Some of the words that came in the lesson are given there. Damp means slightly wet. Buttercup, it's a plant with cup-shaped flowers. Minnow, a type of small fish. Ptolemy, they've shown you how to pronounce it. The P is silent. Newt, a small animal with short legs. It can live on land and in water both. Salad, a mix of raw vegetables like tomatoes and cucumbers. It is eaten with other food. Galoshes, waterproof boots. Set off. Start a journey or begin. Tackle, equipment. Bait, a small amount of food on a hook need to catch a fish, or it's used rather. Stickleback, a small fish with sharp points on its back. Out of breath, panting. Sore, aching. Worse, less good, of a low standard. Trout, a type of fish, dived, jumped into water with the head first in, then spat, threw out something out of the mouth. In tatters, torn and in bad condition. Pike, a large fish, nasty, very bad. Now, that was a lovely story and I love the pictures that are given there. Children, you must sit and read the lesson and then go through some of the new words in this particular lesson that you're going to come across, because there were many of them. Okay, bye.